Hi everyone, it's Killshot from 99 Sports, and this is the NFL Playoffs 2018 Wildcard Weekend. Thanks all of you guys either showing up or watching the playback. Today we're going to do a little bit of the predictions. I know we did these from the start of the season. There are teams that are definitely missing from the playoff hunt. We'll talk about that a little bit because we made projections early on the season. The Lions, the Giants, the Bucks, the Raiders, the Packers, a few teams that we thought might actually get into the playoffs. There's a lot of them that are not there. So we will talk about what we have to work with, some interesting storylines. Also, Raider Nation is back in full effect. People are really, really happy that John Gruden's going to come into coaching. Maybe they could be America's next team going to Las Vegas in another year or so. You got the Patriots, you got the Cowboys out there, so that's going to be a topic of conversation as well. I see Six-Side Sports in the house. Hopefully Tommy will pop in a little bit. I know he's going to have a little bit of the Eagles chant that's out there. And once again, if don't know how many people are going to show up. This is a last-minute broadcast we set up, but at least we'll have several people that will watch the playback. And if you do watch the playback, then make sure to just leave your comments below and talk about who you think is going to win. Hopefully you leave your projections before it actually happens. I see Chip Smith. What's going on, Chip? Sorry, man. So sorry about the college football ranks and the Clemson Tigers. But you do have the Bulldogs in there. We're going to talk about that probably Sunday night as well. We'll talk a little bit of college football. So I see Stephen Miller in the house, also Kel. So we're going to start out. I know there's some popular picks that are out there, some upsets for the weekend. I don't know. At least the first game today. Remember, the Titans already played at Kansas City early on in the season. I think the Titans were trailing 17-7, and then third quarter, fourth quarter had to come back, ended up winning the game. I think it was 19-17. I read. I'm not going off of memory. I read it a couple hours ago when I was kind of preparing for this, but Kansas City let their foot off the gas a little bit, and I don't think that's going to happen today. Kansas City got off to such a very hard, a good schedule starting out. I know they had some tough games. They started out with the Patriots and looked like the team to beat. Like no one was going to beat them, and then they hit the middle of the season, started to slow down a little bit, and in the season they sort of limped into the playoffs. The Titans along the same lines. Tennessee Titans had, 3 weeks in order to clinch to get in and kept losing and losing and finally beat the Jaguars at the end of the season. And you don't really know how the Jaguars played tough, but were they really throwing everything at them that we're going to see Jacksonville do in the playoffs? So Stephen Miller saying Chiefs, Jags, Saints, and Falcons. I do think we'll start out with the first game. The Chiefs got out to that start. I think they're going to take care of business today. That's really my feel. We'll look at the lines and see what the point spreads are with this game. The Chiefs are favored, quite a bit. Maybe an 8-point spread. Yeah, Chiefs are given 8, and they lost at home earlier. It's going to be a loud, crazy environment. I'm looking for Kareem Hunt and also Tyreek Hill to just go in and do their thing. Hill had 1,183 yards, 75 receptions. Kareem Hunt, 1,327 yards. And I like the experience of Alex Smith. I know Alex Smith has been kind of generic for a long time. They're probably not going to re-sign him. I think Alex Smith might end up as the Cleveland Browns starting quarterback next year, and then they'll draft a quarterback to sort of transition over into that. Leave your thoughts and comments for that one as well, and I'll read a couple comments. But I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, but I'm expecting the Chiefs' defense to really step up. There's no DeMarco Murray. It's going to be Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, 744 yards. What do you have? Maybe 5 touchdowns for the season. Their leading receiver is their tight end, Delaney Walker. And Mariota is not throwing the ball well. Mariota had 13 TDs, 15 interceptions. So I know he can make some things happen running around, extending the pocket. But it's cold, and it's in Kansas City. And I like the Chiefs to low-scoring game, like I said. I'm thinking something along the lines of 20-6, 20-9. And I actually like the Chiefs to cover the point spread. I like them a little bit more than 10. So let me get your projection on this. Everybody's here in the stream. Just type really quick Do you think Chiefs or Titans, and what do you think the score is going to be? And I like under the total on this. So I'm going to go 20-6. Kansas City wins by 14. And Steph says Chiefs will win 27-13. A little higher than I thought, but you do have a 14-point margin as well. So let's see a couple other projections here. Chip says 23-10, so around the same lines. Got a couple people thinking that the Chiefs are going to cover the spread. There's probably a lot to learn from that game earlier in the season. And I don't feel like the Titans have that offensive. They need a threat. They need to draft a threat. They do force turnovers. They do have a solid defense. But home field advantage could be big. We'll get a few other projections. Kel says Titans by 3. And just give it another second. All right. So there you have it. We got the Chiefs over the Titans by 3. Let's move into the late game. This one is going to be tonight. We've got the Falcons. This is number 3 and number 6. So the Falcons travel to Los Angeles and play the Rams. The Rams, perhaps the story of the year. Completely turned around. The Falcons have been there. They're defending NFC champions. I love the Rams. I love everything that they do. I think McVay is just a heck of a coach. And the Rams are favored by 6 points. I don't like the Rams to win. As much as I do like them, and I like the season that they had, and they're trying to really play down experience and playoff experience, I think after that great season, and if they lose to the Falcons, a disappointing loss will really make them a strong team for next season. I love everything that Gurley's done. I think Jared Goff, you could flip a coin and pick who should be comeback player of the year, either Gurley or Goff, either one. One of those two is probably going to win it. Gurley just had an amazing year. He's in the discussion for MVP. Their offense is so creative. Their offensive coordinator, I think, was an assistant coach with the Falcons last year as well, so Dan Quinn knows him pretty well. They're fast. The weather is good. Aaron Donald, solid defense. Everything stacks up. It looks like, the Rams are right there. But I think the Falcons, with Devontae Freeman, with Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, and Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's MVP quarterback. He's been in this stage before. I think the Falcons squeak out in a heartbreaker. 28-27, the Falcons squeak out. They're the underdog. I'm going to take them by a point. I see the Rams being pumped up, getting out to a pretty good start. And I think it's going to be one of those where you see like 27-14, and then Matt Ryan leads them to 2 late touchdowns to win the game. I'm going to say Falcons pull the upset, 28-27. The thing is, there's so many good stories that are out there, but only one team can win. And you got a good storyline with the Saints, you got a good storyline with the Rams, you got a good storyline with the Jaguars. But the reality is, the Falcons have been there. The Falcons have played at that level. We all know what happened last year in the Super Bowl. The Falcons, one first down away from winning the Super Bowl. So let me get some predictions here. Stephen Miller says Atlanta 31-24, Falcons by 7. So let's see if some other people have some projections for the Falcons and the Rams. And I'll read a couple of your score predictions. Those of you that are watching the playback, just leave your comments below. Kel says Falcons by a touchdown at the end. Similar projections. With a couple more score predictions, and then we'll go ahead and jump into tomorrow's games. We'll talk about those as well. Going to be a little bit earlier tomorrow. All right, give it another second. I'll get a couple more predictions. And ooh, Chip, you got the Rams winning big. So Chip's going 34-20. I mean, the Rams do. I mean, they're scoring 30 points a game. Angus, thanks for popping in. Says he thinks the Rams will win. I do like them. I enjoyed watching them this year. I had Todd Gurley on my fantasy football team, which won the championship, by the way. Congratulations to my team. It was a cash league, so won a few $100 off of that. Not bad. Steph is going to say the Rams as well. All right, let's jump into tomorrow's games because we'll probably do a little bit of gaming tomorrow, a little bit of Walking Dead tomorrow. Those of you that are watching the playback and only watch sports, this is Kill Shot from 9 to 9 Sports, gaming, comics. So if you're new to the channel, we do a little bit of everything. Tomorrow we'll get back into our Walking Dead streams, but also have a little bit of video gaming as well. Brief commercial for you guys. And let's talk a little bit about the Bills and the Jaguars tomorrow. So you got Doug Marrone, former coach of the Buffalo Bills. You got Tom Coughlin calling the shots for the Jaguars. Turn the team around. That might be the story of the year. Nobody picked the Jaguars to make the playoffs, and they are the number 3 seed. So I will. I like the Jags. I like the Jags defense. I know they didn't play at that, that high level at the end of the season, and actually they got scored on a little bit. Their defense was so dominant early on. Jacksonville went up and beat the Steelers. So that'd be a great second-round matchup. I mean, Jacksonville's been up there, and they know that they can play with Pittsburgh. I like Jacksonville. I know Bortles is just getting a lot of crap. Buffalo, you got LaShawn McCoy is injured. You don't know how much he's going to be able to go. I don't think, even if he plays, I don't think he's going to be a big factor. Jacksonville is favored in the game. They're an 8.5-point favorite. I like Jacksonville's defense to absolutely stifle the Bills. I think without Shady McCoy, they become one-dimensional. I think Taylor's had a great year, but I don't know that they can move the ball down the field. I love Jacksonville to take this one. I'm going to say Jacksonville 24-13 Jags. And they're going to be having a party down there in Florida. So Jags will take it by 11 points. Stephen Miller says Jags by 11. Hey, I like that. So 21-10. Chip is saying no doubt about it. 34-13. Serious. That is a serious beating there. And Steph says Jags all day long as well. And let's go ahead and talk about the last game that is out there for the weekend. I'm going to save the second-round projections until we make sure that we're right. So the fourth game, this will be tomorrow. And this is going to be an interesting game because these are division rivals. They know each other. You got Superman Cam Newton. You got Drew Brees just having a great year at, 37, 38 at this point. The Saints are playing at home. The Saints have some weapons. They have a ton of weapons. They've got Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara. They've got Mark Ingram. I mean, they are just loaded. Ted Ginn is even, former Carolina Panther. They got him that they can just kind of plug and play. Still got a lot of speed. I like the Saints. It's tough for me to pull against Carolina because, Carolina, Atlanta. I like those Southern teams as well. But the Saints are favored by a touchdown, 7 points. Christian McCaffrey is there. Jonathan Stewart, he's done. I mean, they need to give more touches to McCaffrey. Greg Olsen will be back, so they do have that weapon. But I just think there's too much speed, too much ability. The Carolina defense is not what it used to be. The Saints, I think, are going to take care of business. I'm going with the Saints in a big, big way. 31-21. I think the Saints put 31 points up. And 51, pretty good total there. I don't know if the over-under might actually be in the 55, so maybe that's not as high as the total as I thought. But I'm taking the Saints at home to cover the point spread as well. So I'll give you a real quick, let's get some projections in there. Chip says Panthers 31-30. You're a homer. You're only pulling for the Panthers because you're from that area. Come on, Chip. Who else we got? Stephen Miller says, not a fan of either team, but the Saints pull it out 35-30. I know you're going to pull for your team, but pulling for your team and being realistic, I mean, there's a lot of speed, and Rivera is a defensive coach, and he just doesn't have the defensive weapons to stay with the Saints. That's what kind of bothers me about the team a little bit, is Cam Newton's going to do all he can do, but Cam Newton can't score with the Saints. And in what could be a high-scoring game, I'm going to bet on Sean Payton. Angus Johnson says Saints 28-21, so by a touchdown. Kel says the Panthers, but a close game as well. All right, so let's get a real quick recap, and then we'll wrap this up, and we'll do a little bit more of this. Keep in mind, the sports fans that are here, I know we haven't ramped this up a lot. We are going to kick off a few more streams. We're going to have NFL predictions all the way through the playoffs. We'll have college football stream tomorrow. We're going to talk a little bit about the national championship, and we'll do a little bit more gaming on this channel too, a little bit more sports gaming. So as a real quick recap, we've got Kansas City 20-6 is my prediction. Chiefs cover the point spread. I'm going with the upset of the day is going to be the Falcons beating the Rams. Hurts me to say it, but 28-27. And then I'm going just straight favorites in the two games tomorrow. I'm going to take the Jaguars 24-13 over the Bills. Bills were happy to get in, but congratulations, you got in. See you next year. And then the Saints covering the point spread against the Carolina Panthers 31-21. So I want to thank all of you for jumping in, being involved in this stream, and I will talk to you all tomorrow during the Chill with Kill segment. Have a good afternoon. Peace.